Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this special Thursday night live stream. So happy that you're here. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is, wherever you're tuning in from. Thank you all so much for being here. I think we have a very exciting stream in store for you tonight. In fact, I have my notes on my monitor in front of me because I have a lot that I want to cover tonight and I don't want to forget anything. So I will be referring over to the notes periodically. And that said, I just want to address everybody here in the stream and say hello and thank you again for being here. Um, Again, it's a very special night. I have a very special guest with me. And that said, before I bring him on, I do want to just take care of a little administrative task. We will be addressing the comments later on in the stream, so feel free to put them in, put any comments or any questions you have in the chat, but we probably won't pay attention to that during the stream because there's a lot of things we're going to get into, but towards the end of the stream, we'll segue into a Q&A and we'll try to address all your comments and all your questions to the best of our ability. So that said, tonight I have a very special guest with me. You guys may have remembered or may remember a YouTube channel by the name of Controlling Technologies with a fellow by the name of Joe. Well, Joe is here with us tonight, and we met a couple of years ago. We've developed a good partnership, a good, very strong friendship. We've done a couple of special collabs together. And I'm excited to be here with Joe tonight because he has something he does want to share with everyone and let you know what he's been up to. So at this point, let me, without any further ado, bring on my good buddy Joe and welcome him to the stream.
Hey, Tony. Hey,
Hey, Joe,
everybody.
welcome
Thanks,
to the stream.
thanks for the great intro. Jeez, I feel like the prime minister or something.
Oh, it's so exciting. I'm ever since we discussed doing this, I am like been very looking forward to tonight. And I know a lot of the viewers probably are too, ever since I posted the live stream that would be scheduled for tonight. So that said, I do have a bunch of things I want to discuss with you, a couple of questions I want to throw at you. So let's get right to it and get started. How does that sound?
Sure, sounds good.
Cool. All right. So we titled this live stream tonight a very special title. We just basically called it "He's Back," right? So, can you elaborate on that? Like, why did we call it that tonight, and what do you exactly mean by "He's Back"? So, fill us in, bring us up to speed.
Sure. Well, I'll say first of all, thanks for having me on the channel. I don't know if I said that before, but I appreciate it. And yes, it's great being your good friend Tony. But yeah, it's been a while. In fact, yeah, there's some butterflies. It's been a while since I've even been on a live stream. I've watched plenty, and I know even since Cajoling Technologies, I have there's been a lot of creators who have come up, like Jay Shell and Keith and a few others, Jason's Lab that we've watched together and enjoyed. So I guess the whole point of what this is you all know I got rid of Cajoling Technologies, and we'll talk about some of the kind of the reasons for that and why. But what I ended up doing is thinking for a bunch of months about what I'd like to do, and I thought about maybe creating some sort of training course. Went down a bunch of different avenues, maybe creating some guest videos on other channels, and then I started thinking about, well, with Cajoling Technologies, what were the videos I actually enjoyed doing, and what were the videos that the audience enjoyed watching? So what were my best performing videos, and where is there kind of a gap in content out there? And what I found was that in Blue Iris, which again we'll talk more about that too in a little bit, but Blue Iris is a topic that really does not get enough love, and it's something I'm passionate about. So what I've decided to do is start a YouTube channel dedicated to Blue Iris. It's called Learn Blue Iris. I'm sure Tony or others will put it in the chat. It's I currently have 8 subscribers, so we'll see how many I get after this. It's kind of fun I left Cajoling Technologies when it was I don't know, 16,000 something, and kind of killed that channel. So it's kind of fun to be at the beginning again. And those who, like Jay, I think you're in the 600s. Those, who are still growing. I'm back in your shoes. So I see what you mean. But yeah, it's so anyway, the he's back is I am back on YouTube. I've got a lot of people since we posted this stream, Tony and I, saying, what in the world does this mean? He's back. Is he bringing back cajoling technologies? No, cajoling technologies is gone. I still, the concept, the name is still mine, but the channel is not. But anyway, so yes, it's called Learn Blue Iris. Would appreciate if you go over and subscribe and take a look. And we're going to talk a little bit more. And I think Tony's got a couple questions about Blue Iris too. So.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for that, Joe. Now that the secret is out of the bag, everybody, you can go home. No, I'm just kidding. Please stick around. I'm just kidding. Joe, tell us, like, for those of us who don't know what Blue Iris is exactly, can you elaborate on that? And, why would you use whatever Blue Iris is? So.
Sure. Yeah. Blue Iris is a program. It's a piece of software that runs on a Windows PC. And hopefully someday, I don't know this for sure, but hopefully someday they'll migrate to Linux, because I think that would be really cool. Because Windows updates. But it's a piece of software that runs on a PC that allows you to control up to 64 security cameras, and it's a perpetual license. There is yearly, you can pay for support. It's cheap. It's like $30 USD a year, and that includes updates, which they regularly update. So I've been using it at my house. I have like 12 cameras, security cameras in my house. I've been using it for years, and I did a bunch of videos on it with cajoling technologies, and um, I've gotten even more kind of involved, and I haven't even personally, I haven't even gotten to everything in the program yet. There's just so much you could do with it. It's a bit complicated though, and that's sort of the reason that like I go and Google things or try to find on YouTube how to do certain things. There's just not content there. So my plan is to dig into some of these deeper topics of Blue Iris, do some of the higher level for people getting started, but dig in deeper on some of these.
Is Blue Iris something that like anyone can use, or do you have to have a certain skill set? Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I guess anybody's free to download. There's a 15 day free trial. And I'm not a shill for Blue Iris, by the way. We'll talk about that later. I'm not sponsoring anything, but anybody's free to try it on really any Windows PC, or buy the license and use it. It is a little bit complex. I will say that. So if you like to use things that are just kind of out of the box, you might want to look at something like Synology Surveillance Station if you have a Synology NAS, or Unify Protect, Ubiquiti's line, because those are going to be sort of out of the box. They're going to work. The cameras are simple to add, and it just works. But with that simplicity, you also lose some of the interesting things you could do with Blue Iris, and some of the functionality that you have, like connecting into smart home, or making an API call to some web server every time a motion alert happens on one particular part of your driveway. Like you can get into such granular detail of things you could do with Blue Iris. It's insane. So that's why I kind of want to deep dive into it. That's why I started a channel with it. So
Cool. Thank you for that. Did you mention, I was kind of looking at the comments, so forgive me if you mentioned this. Did you mention the cost?
I think right now it's $69.95 for a license,
Okay.
and I think it's about $30. By the way, this is US dollars. It's about $30 a year for the support, which you get for this. Let's call it $70. The $70, you get the support, and you get the updates for a year. And then after a year, if you want to continue those updates, some people do, some people don't. I recommend it because there's security patches and stuff, and it does have a web server component. Some people port forward. I don't. I use zero tier. There's a video on it. But it is, something that could be internet facing. So I think it's worth it. But and it's a small company. There's, I haven't personally met the I think there's a main engineer and kind of a marketing person. But it's been around and it's kind of tried and true tested. But yeah. Anyway, it's when you think about to be able to control 64 cameras, not to pick on surveillance station, but I know you get what, 4 free licenses, Tony, and then you have to buy. How does that work?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you actually get 2
2
with the
licenses. Okay.
with the Synology NAS. Then a single license, if you want to add for a single camera, is around $55 or $56. You can get a 4-pack, but that's around $205. So yeah, when you look at that compared to the $70 for
Right.
hosting 64 cameras, like it's kind of a
Right.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a Synology surveillance station user, so I mean, yeah, there's definitely something to be said about the price
Yeah,
point of.
yeah, exactly. And it depends on what it depends on what you're doing too. The average PC is not going to even be able to support 64 cameras, and probably the Synology NAS tops out. You probably have to get some really high end version to support something like that. So, but if you just have a few cameras, you can use that old PC that you have kicking around that is just unplugged in some back room somewhere, right? And run it's kind of cool that you can do that. So anyway.
Cool. So you mentioned earlier that because there's not a lot of content out there on Blue Iris, that's why you decided to come back to YouTube, start the channel, but you've made the focus on the channel so specific, almost so targeted. How do you feel about that moving forward? Do you think there's enough content to be had, to be made, to put out there? And what were your thought? I guess the question is, what was your thought process in making the channel so Blue Iris centric, so to speak?
Yeah, no, it's totally fair because it's a bit of a niche and it is very focused on one thing. It's for a few reasons. For one, when I had Cajoling Technologies, I kind of found it, and actually Jeremy, who's another creator, I'm not sure, I think he was driving tonight, but we were having a discussion on one of his live streams about like the audience and the target audience, and excuse me, and that channel was kind of a bit all over the place, right? Like I do an unboxing of a router, but then maybe I would do a Blue Iris video, but then I would do a video on this random app about tracking your calories. Like it's kind of all over the place, which I think is difficult for an audience for a YouTube channel if you don't have kind of a like, what am I here for? And so if I did want to, let's say I did want to get back into the home networking side of things, I think it would be more beneficial in my case to have another channel that's just dedicated to just that. Looks like my head's out of the frame. I guess I should slouch. But anyway, so part of it is that I think, like, from just a YouTube perspective, it's kind of good to have a target of like, okay, who's my audience and what are they doing. So that was one thing, is that it was kind of all over the place with cajoling. The other thing is my the videos that absolutely did the best on the channel were Blue Iris, like hands down. My audience for Blue Iris was the biggest. It doesn't necessarily lend itself to the community. Like, I've met a lot of you through maybe some of the other videos, and hopefully you'll stick around for some of that. But yeah, I would say that's the other thing. And then I guess the third reason is that there's just not enough content out there on it. And if I can't find the content, then other people can't either. I still get emailed back from, with when I had cajoling, of some people who I had helped. And, it's complicated. Some people want to get into it. They buy a PC, they try it out, and they're like, I like it, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So I think it's kind of cool that I can, we were all sort of unboxing the same router, the same switch. I know that Grandstream switch, right? Those switches came out. You have them. Everybody's got the switches. And I think you all do a great job on it. There's no need for me to be back into that that world. I think focusing on one thing for me is the right thing for now. So
Cool. Thank you.
yeah.
Are you going to lean more towards just recorded content, live streaming, a little of both? What's your thought process with that?
Uh, Likely more recorded content with which I call VODs, video on demand. The once in a while I'll probably do live streams. I think once the channel grows, I could see there being a need for there's a whole community of people who are looking for help with Blue Iris, even past what I could do in a video. I can't possibly put out enough videos. So to answer your question, I think there's plenty of content. So there may be an opportunity in the future to do like channel membership live streams, and then once in a while do a live stream. But I don't plan to do like regular like I used to Thursday night live stream. Sorry, Jay. Sorry, Haley. Once in a while. It is kind of apropos that we are doing this at my old time on Thursdays. I don't know if you realize that, Tony, but I was thinking about that today. But anyway, yeah, I think there's plenty of content. It'll be mostly video on demand. It'll be sort of it's not going to be like every Tuesday I release a video. I still have my day job. I still am a pretty busy person. So, I may sit down and record a few videos and then, they get released and then, a little bit of time goes by or whatever. So, but I'm not a Linus Tech Tips, right? I'm not like, Tony, you're really good about weekly, every Saturday, like clockwork, the coffee maker goes on and your video shows up.
I try, but I do miss every once in a while. But that's what you said prior to about having your daytime jobs. A nice segue into my next question. But before I get to that question, I do want to say this. I downloaded the free version of Blue Iris this week, and I installed it on a Windows VM.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that far, and that was pretty straightforward. I got a camera installed. That was pretty straightforward. But I tell you, just kind of looking around the UI, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think you'll be having enough content to make videos for a while.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw. So
well, one topic that I personally don't know a ton about, I know just enough to be dangerous, is something called MQTT, and I bet you some of the folks in the chat will know about this. But it's a protocol that you can do lots of things. There's a lot of smart home stuff, and there's a lot of things you can control with it or trigger with it. And Blue Iris has the ability to do that with cameras. But I haven't gotten into that at all. So that's that's a set of 10 videos probably right there just on MQTT.
What did you call it?
It's MQTT.
Is
I don't
that
know
like
I forget what it stands for, but
is that different from IFTTT or whatever?
oh yeah,
Or the home control?
Yeah, SHI. No, no, yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
MQTT is. I'm sure someone probably has put it in the chat by now. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Jeremy.
yeah. There's a so it can do things like that. It can do things like if you wanted to take, let's say one of my security cameras, I wanted to take and I wanted to send RTMP, so like a live stream out to YouTube of that camera. It's pointed at, let's say I lived somewhere pretty, like Huntington Beach in California, and I wanted to have an ocean shot of one of my cameras. I could have that rolling to YouTube all the time, or somewhere else, anywhere that's RTMP. So I could just choose one. It just there's a million things that the thing could do. And it's kind of fun for me because, like I said, I know the basic. I know how to get not the basics, but I know enough to get people's cameras up and running and working and deep enough, like change recordings and triggers and motion detection and things. But there's just this other layer, another level that's just insane that they've built into it. So yeah. Anyway,
that's pretty cool. So
yeah.
Going back to what you said about your day job, you're still there, right? You're still working full time. You are your streaming business. So what's going on with that? Your day job, kind of bring us up to speed with all that.
Yep, still working full time, corporate America, big tech, and yeah, it is what it is. But this stuff's a little more fun, but that's okay. We still do have our streaming business. My wife and I was in the chat. We do. It's slowed down a little bit since the pandemic has eased, even though it seems like everybody has the C word this season. Either that or flu or a cold or something. But so it doesn't seem like it. But anyway, yeah, because we were doing a lot of live streaming weddings and events that couldn't be in person anymore. So it slowed down a little bit. So it does give me a little bit more time. That was part of. There were many reasons about why it was time to stop cajoling, but that was one of them. Was we were very busy at the time with lots of other things, and live streaming being one of them. So we'll do it as we kind of pick and choose. I mean, that's the nice thing is we both have our jobs, right? So we don't have to do it full time, but we still do enjoy the live streaming.
Cool. Cool. This is a question, Joe, that's not pertaining to Blue Ivers or surveillance or anything like that. This is just in general as a creator. And I know maybe some of the other creators out in the audience right now will, maybe tune into this as well. Having had a previous YouTube channel, Controlling Technologies, you kind of talked about how this channel will differ, but is there anything you say you took away from your first experience as a YouTube creator that you learned and that you would maybe do different this time around?
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of things. For one, I learned that there's a real balance between things you want to do, videos you want to do, content you want to make, and content people actually want to watch. So you as a creator have to decide, do I want to have a channel that's kind of for me and for my archive and just do things that I like as a hobby for things, or do I want to have a channel that, yes, I like the content, but I'm thinking about, okay, what's going to perform well and what's going to do well. It's a decision, and I know PE for Doers. We've seen come onto Jeremy's channel. References Sarah Dici, who's another creator, large creator, who says, one for you, one for me, where she'll make one that she likes, and I mean, I think it's a good phrase, but I think it's just, you have to decide, right? Like some videos, I can make a random video on some random topic, I'll get 5 views on it. So I think that was one of the reasons of picking. Okay, I know there's a need for this particular content. I also like to make this particular content. So that was one of the things. The other thing is things like titles and thumbnails and good quality audio and video are really important, and learned a lot about. I mean, no one knows the algorithm, right? No one knows the YouTube algorithm. In fact, even people at YouTube have been quoted saying they don't even know how the algorithm actually it builds itself almost. But good content that people like. That's why people say give the thumbs up. By the way, give the thumbs up to this. So Tony actually, Tony's videos do well, but like the interaction, the comments with people, the satisfaction is one of the latest things that they're talking about with YouTube. Is they're trying to measure. So if at the end of a YouTube video, if you then click one of the end cards that comes up to watch another of that creator's video, that gives them bonus points of algorithm. So I don't know. Once you do it for enough time, you kind of realize, like, all right, if I do a crap thumbnail, nobody's going to click on it, even if the content's great. So I have to do a good thumbnail. I have to do good content. I have to do it on a topic that I know people are interested in. And by the way, I can't do it on something that is boring as heck to me, because why do it then? Why even have this channel? So anyway, that was that. All of that stuff that I learned from cajoling of having, maybe at least half of my videos like get no views, is okay. What works and what doesn't. So we'll see. Maybe, anyway, go ahead, Tony.
And not to go completely off on that tangent with let's figure out how to make YouTube work best for us. But I think a big misconception with a lot of YouTubers, because things change so frequently over the years with YouTube, is everybody focuses so much on the tags
Mhm.
And lately the whole thing is don't worry so much about the tags because they're really not they're not benefiting you the way
No.
you think they are to put in the amount of time that creators are putting in trying to come up with catchy tags and phrases and things like that. It's more about excuse me, watch time and click through rate. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
anyway,
the user satisfaction. In fact, there's even I noticed because it remember I've been out of this game now. I don't know what's it been 9 months, something like that since the last
roughly, yeah.
probably almost a year ish since I was really doing it seriously. And I noticed on the tags it says this has very little. It actually has a phrase. This has very little impact on
Right.
your video. It's kind of funny. It used to be like you got to put 40 tags in there and they have to be relevant. And now it's about making good content. It's a bit but if someone watches your video, feels like it was a good thing, gives it a thumbs up, and either stays on the platform or watches another one of your videos or watches a similar video, that's kind of like big thing. But not to belabor the point, but before all that, to get someone to actually click the video, no matter how good the content is, you can't just have a flat, thumbnail with some text on it, and because no people, yeah, you have to have something. People like to see people's faces. It's just it's psychology of it is like that. Not that I want to put my face up, so don't think it's like we're narcissistic. People who aren't creators, it's not because we're all narcissistic jerks. It's because there's science around people clicking. So anyway, it's a bit of a game. It's kind of a fun game to play, and that's why we do it. So
It's funny because I worked on a video today and I've been doing this for now a little over 5 years, right? And I've always focused so much on tags and I focused so much on trying to create a good title, right? But after 5 years, I realized today because I was really coming up empty with a title. I could not come up with the words, right, for a title for this video. That it occurred to me that I'm trying to say too much in the title. Like I'm trying to tell too much about what the video is, like very focused and very specific. And it doesn't have to be that way.
no,
It could be very vague, not deceiving to a point where you don't want to call it, like you trick somebody into clicking and then the content has nothing to do with the title,
right,
but it could be very vague. You do want to like leave it to their imagination to say, what is he talking about there? Ooh, I want to see. Let me click.
exactly.
So but it took me 5 years to come to that, and you just got to keep studying your analytics and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, and listen to you've all well, maybe not. Mr. Beast is one of the biggest YouTubers out there, right? And not that any of us are ever going to be Mr. Beast. I mean, he's one of the top, I think, top 5 YouTubers ever. And I was listening to a story that he was telling. Now he spends in the millions on every video he makes. He only makes like one video a month, but he spends millions, literally millions on videos. He has thrown out multiple videos that he spent millions on because he couldn't come up with a good enough thumbnail for the video.
wow.
That's how important. So you figure the top 5, whatever it is, 5, 10 YouTuber out there will throw out a video that he spent millions on because the thumbnail's not good enough. So it's things like that it's like, okay, wow, it's and people have asked for advice on thumbnails on Twitter, and he'll go in and say like, you're not taking up enough space on there's a whole science behind just thumbnails. So anyway, not to but by the way, we should say that we're not just ignoring the chat. Tony said at the beginning, but if you join late, we're going to go through the chat messages after we're done kind of with our pre-planned part of the show, and then but so feel free to ask questions or keep chatting while we
Cool.
talk. So
All right. So you pretty much addressed the next question about having a YouTube channel and being a lot of work, and how's the Learn Blue Iris channel going to be different? But the one part about this question I do want to ask you is going forward. And I know you touched on it, but can you give us a little bit more of an idea going forward what we could expect from the channel?
yeah, I think we touched on some of it, but it will be videos that you will expect. If you are someone who's interested at all in Blue Arts, there will be some videos. Like, for example, I put out a video today about installing a hard drive into a computer, into a PC. Um, there's a lot of technical people here, so maybe that you probably already know how to do that. But that was a question when I talked to people about Blue Iris, where they're like, I have no idea. I can buy a PC, but I want to put in a surveillance hard drive, like the Western Digital Purple drive, which, by the way, I think you have a associate link, Tony, to that drive for him. Oh my! So this is why I go on live with Tony. I don't even need to think about it. He's got something. But anyway, like that's so funny. We do you have the dog in your shadow? We'll talk about that
No, I
later.
don't have that.
Right. Um. So I would get asked like, okay, I bought this PC for Blue Iris, but I have no idea how to put this surveillance. You really should be using a surveillance drive. You have like 20 cameras recording, and they're recording 24/7. That's a particular use case for a hard drive. A regular hard drive is going to fail in, I don't know, 6 months if you try to do that to it. And it's not really a NAS hard drive, it has a different use case. So there will be some videos that will cross over, I think, into the general kind of computing sphere. But for the most part, you're going to see videos that are on the basics all the way down to the advanced of this particular piece of software, with Blue Iris. So that's kind of what to expect, and some live streams thrown in here and there. I expect that the live streams will be very much like if you ever watch Cody from Mac Telecom. I don't know. I haven't seen him in the chat, but his live streams, he goes to bed early. Gets up at like 3 in the morning, drinks 12 cups of coffee, he says. But if you watch his channel, because it's mostly Ubiquiti stuff, his live streams are almost every question is about Ubiquiti and Unify. But his channel is very focused on that, and that's the intentional that it is. So I expect that it was. So point being is, it's know what you're getting into. That's what it's there for. That's my whole point of the channel, is that it's going to be dedicated to that software. So
Cool. You open to collaborating with other creators?
well, it depends on the creator. You have to be very nice. No, yeah, I am. It's I've met so many friends, including you, Tony. Tony and I met through the channel, but I can see, just I'm watching the chat go by and seeing the names, and um anyway, I've made so many friends through it that yeah, I think there will definitely be opportunities, not just like live streams and stuff, but who knows. I have a few ideas actually that a couple you might hear from me on. But yeah, I think it's I'd like to still be a part of kind of the community, even though I'm not in like the unboxing of Grand Stream Network switches world anymore, Tony. I'd still like to be a part of the family, the YouTube fam. So.
Very cool. Well, Joseph, we covered everything in my outline of questions. Oh, just to be clear, right? You mentioned it early, not affiliated or associated or partnered with Blue Iris, correct?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that. No, I am not. And in fact, they're very hard to get a hold of. Unless you have support and you like go through their support channels. But I'm talking about, like, if I've reached out a few times to say, hey, this was when I had the other channel. Hey, I do a bunch of videos on you guys. Like, what and the only thing I've ever gotten out of it was I do have an affiliate link. So if you want a license, I don't know, I get a percentage of if you buy a license. So, but other than that, no, I have really no connection to them. They were doing like weekly streams every once in a while. That kind of fell off. They do have a YouTube channel, but they don't do much on there either. So yes, I'm not, and I'm not. I don't write the code. I don't endorse the code. If there's bugs and it crashes your computer, it's not my fault. It's where there's not a connection. And if you go with some of the other one of they're like we were saying before, it may not be the right answer for you. It may be the channel is not here to sell you on Blue Iris. It's if you decide that this is the right thing for you. And maybe that's because you have this random feature that I do an advanced video on that you're like, oh wow, that's awesome. I would love to. Tony, I have one quick story, and then I'll
Oh,
shut up.
Joe.
A couple. Tony said he was giving me the high sign if I'm talking too much. That so one of the things you could do with Blue Iris is you can hook up, you can run audio outputs from it, and you can have, based on a trigger, you can have a, like, you could set up an audio file. So there was a time when we were getting regular visits in our, and people were pulling into our driveway a couple of years ago from a family member who meant well, and every time that family member would pull into the driveway, it would trigger a, a sound effect that would say, "They're here, they're here, they're here," and all through the house you would hear it. So it's like things like that, you know. I don't know. Try doing that with Unify Protect. I don't think you can do that with Unify Protect. So
Wow, that's so cool. Well, what it sounds like to me is lots of new, fresh, exciting content coming to YouTube via the Learn Blue Iris channel. I know I've already subbed, and I could tell in the chat a lot of others have already. So be curious to see what you're up to once the stream is over. Is there anything else before we move over to the Q&A? Because we have probably about 25 or 30 comments piled up. Is there anything else you want to share or talk about before we move to that?
I guess I'll just say thanks to everybody kind of for, you know, sticking with me personally. I know that with Cajoling Technologies, those who were subscribed are part of it, and it's probably 50-50 of those are on the stream. You know, I had some stops and starts and different things and different points in what's going on in my life and all that, and then I kind of just disappeared, and now I'm back. So appreciate those who dealt with that, and like, where'd that video go that I had? I think somebody wrote on your channel, Tony, looking for a particular video that was used to be on my channel. Well, it's back. The zero tier video. This is on how to get into your network, to get to the Blue Iris server without having to use VPN, a traditional VPN, or port forwarding. And, you know, so thanks for sticking with it. And if it is something you are interested in, then hop over to it. Also, Tony, you may have planned to mention it, but you know, if you do have questions or you just want to say hello, a lot of you maybe I haven't talked to in a while. I do have an email associated with it. Oh my gosh, Tony is like on top of it. Yeah, or if you know, yeah, if there's something, I expect that maybe I'll get into some different cameras like OnVIF or RTSP cameras that Blue Iris supports. So I'll probably do some of that. But yeah, if you just want to say hello, info@learnblueiris.com. I don't yet have a website for it. I don't know if I will. I don't know if it's pertinent or not to having the channel, but anyway, yeah. So drop me a note if you have questions or you just want to say hello.
Speaking of that viewer who reached out to me looking for you, that was about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, folks, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I knew nothing about Joe's new venture until about 2 days ago. And when he told me, you know, he sends me a text and he sends me a link. Hey, check this out. There's a new Blue Iris channel on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, cool. Let me go check. It's freaking him. You know, I was like, I can't believe you kept this from me. You built the channel, you did all this marketing and promotion, and you didn't fill me in. I was like, but I only found out like 2 days ago. But my question is, that viewer, did that trigger any of this, or was that just a coincidence? Like when I mentioned it to you?
I would say it was in my head, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was the sole driving factor. I was back and forth on whether it's a huge time commitment. The creators that are in the chat, you know, and some of those who maybe aren't creators because they know the time commitment. Bob and Carpenter, I just saw go by, and Bob and I have chatted a few times about this, where he has a wealth of information. I mean, he knows unbelievable amount about things like PF Sense, for example. But it's a huge time commitment, right? You have to balance family and your day jobs and other things. So part of the concept was, well, should I do this? Do I have enough time in the day to, or the week to do it? And I think having it be focused, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out, like, okay, should I buy this new product, or should I, emailing companies like, hey, I saw this new thing come out, I'd really like to do a video on my, it by focusing it to this, that was kind of my thought process, was that I could make lists of things I want to do the videos. A lot of times I could do them maybe in batches, and so that's what kind of drive it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I do. When you leave it, you kind of miss it. Like I said, I've met some great friends doing it. So anyway, it's fun helping people. I like to teach. I like to help others. So this isn't a vlogging channel, right, where it's just for entertainment purposes. These are the content on here is intentionally evergreen. That's a whole nother topic we could get into, of YouTube channels that are just like the news, right? If you do a weekly news show, I know Jeremy does that, which is entertaining, but after 1 week, yeah, which is great, by the way, Jeremy, check out his channel. It's great. He does other things, because you have to, because news is only relevant for this week, right? Next week there's new news. So when you build content, is something to think about, is this content going to be, how long is it going to be relevant for? If they update the software, it's not going to be relevant. Some things just aren't relevant for more than a day. Like a vlog, people do vlogmas, where they every day in December they get on and show what they're up to. Nobody's going to watch those after December. You know what I mean? So it's not evergreen content. Anyway,
Very cool.
I could go on forever about it.
All right. Well, Joe, let's move over to the comments. Let's see if there's any Q&A, or if we just pop the comments on the screen and see what people are talking about, and then go from there.
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to go back. I think we left off. I'm just going to put them all up, unless there's just, I see a conversation going on between people in the chat.
Okay, cool.
If there's a question, then I'll bring you full
Michael,
screen and let you.
Feel better, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, feel better. I just got over a bout with that lovely thing. It did the same for me too. It kind of bagged my holiday season, and I know a lot of people that happened to as well. So
yeah.
Let's see. David Grishko's in the house.
David, good to hear from you.
Catherine's here. Now,
Hey,
Catherine tunes into PE for Doers. That's how I met Catherine.
Yeah, I've seen Catherine on Jeremy's channel too, I think. Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this keep going up as the stream goes on. Okay, so because I've seen the comments.
Thanks, Chase. Thanks everybody for subscribing.
There you go, Joe. You're gonna pass us all. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't think
6 months. You're gonna pass us all.
I don't know,
Let's
Tony. Nothing about it. I do gardening. It is a weird name. And yeah, I don't know if there's any Howard Stern fans out there, but there was a character on Howard Stern that she's passed now. She wasn't she didn't work for them, but she was and so if you type in Blue Iris, sometimes you get like these very odd Howard Stern references.
Thank you, Ashley. We have 19 viewers, 18 likes. I think at one point we were up to 23 concurrent viewers, so that's pretty good.
A record for you, Tony?
It's around 22, 23. So yeah.
Okay. Everybody open from multiple accounts on different browsers and try to get Tony to 25. Okay. See the PC that was buried last time. Oh yeah, I've got a few kicking around. I guess one thing on that, I know we could probably go on for hours if I stop on every comment, but used and refurbished PCs are really a good thing. First of all, e-waste is a thing, right? And a lot of times if you're just running like 4 or 5 cameras, you can get a PC for like $100 and it'll run those for just fine. You don't have to go out and spend a whole bunch on hardware. Thanks, Freddie.
You can keep going, Joe. I was just going to pop these up as
Oh,
you were
okay.
talking.
One particular Logic 23. Thank you. These I like how they're calling out there. We should get like shirts for everybody who like I was 13. I was um there's a company called Human IT, Human. It's kind of some people are like, what are you saying? You man? Human IT. It's a company. They have 2 locations, and they take in e-waste from corporations. They sell some of it. They refurbish it all, and then they sell some of it on their eBay store. They're a nonprofit, and then they donate the other stuff like laptops to those in need, like those who are going off to school and are underprivileged or whatever. It's a great cause. So I recommend on eBay, if you're going to buy used computers or used servers, that check them out. There's lots of others, and there's other nonprofits out there, but the money goes to that organization rather than just some random person. And they do check every single. I've probably bought 10 or 15 things from them. I've never had an issue. So, and if you do, they take care of it. So anyway, I think more things like Blue Iris should support Linux. I agree with you, TVJ. Um, I wish it wasn't just on PC, but it is. Um, the good news is you can run it as a Windows service, meaning that if and I actually just did I put a video yet out? If not, then there's a video coming on running as a Windows service, meaning that you don't have to, if the app for some reason the app were to crash or Windows updates were to take over the PC and it reboots, it'll just start. In fact, you don't even have to be logged in. You could be stuck at the login screen. Are you worried about limited growth or topics? I mean, it could be a concern, but honestly, I have more topic ideas for this channel than I ever had for cajoling. I mean, I could think of probably 50 things and write them down if you put me in a room and in the next 30 minutes. There's because a lot of stuff is stuff I want to learn that I just haven't had a chance to sit down and think about. Charlie B, thank you. Why not rename the old channel? Why start from 0 subs? That's a interesting question. Well, at the time of first of all, I deleted the old channel, and I didn't have any intention of doing this channel when I deleted that channel. So there wasn't an opportunity to do that. If I hadn't deleted it, I guess I could have. But the audience on that channel was very segmented. So I would do a video on something home networking, and I would get all the home networking people to watch, and I would do something on Blue Iris. I get all the Blue Iris people to watch, and so I think I had thought about. In fact, Tony and you and I talked about this a little bit. I had thought about rebranding that channel a few times to be to move toward Blue Iris, and I don't think it would have had kind of the reach. I think it's better to have a dedicated channel personally. So, but yeah, I do have now. I have what are we up to? 24 subs. Thank you all. Yes, we know collab streams like this will rapidly grow a new channel with interested viewers. Yeah, we could definitely do some for sure. Hope you do cameras and add-ons to your Blue Iris experience. Yes, I plan to. I plan to always have ties back to it, but I'm not going to do some random video on I don't know, AirPods, if they don't relate to Blue Iris. But yes, I plan to. I have some Amcrest cameras kicking around. There's a bunch of other brands. So feel you on the comment. I made a video I thought people would love, and it's my least viewed video. Yeah, I think Jay, you're talking about that sometimes content that you like, that you think will do well, doesn't do well. Something that I remember putting out a video that was like I just went on and like in 5 minutes recorded it, threw it up, and it got the most views I had on my old channel. I was like, really? It's always been about user satisfaction. Tags help you be in the match set for search, but relevancy relates. Yes, exactly. Rank it with match set. Exactly. User satisfaction. Do people like the content? Does the content, is it helpful? Is it entertaining? Whatever, keeps them on YouTube. Because in the end, YouTube is a money-making machine with advertising, and they want people subscribed and on the channel. DJ Ware, a couple years ago, YouTube started to open a beer is corked. He kept the camera and his eyeballs corked. And popped right. Video got 24 million views in 24 hours. I'd watch it. Oh, now I'm gonna have to go find that DJ. You'll have to email it to me. I like how you changed the title of the stream. Yeah, that was actually a conversation because if someone who was looking for Blue Iris while we're live, they might come over. I normally skip lives, but this title, starting Blue Iris show, is relevant. I came because I wanted to be there to visit. Thank you. Appreciate it. Logic
There you
23.
go.
I appreciate you coming on live. It's hopefully we've made it somewhat entertaining and interesting. Brian Coates, hey, it's been a while. How's things? Good to see you. Will you go over the new AI software that Blue Iris has? Yes, I am glad you brought that up. This goes back to Jay's question: is there enough content? So Blue Iris, back in the day, I guess a couple years ago, had a partnership. Actually, I think they still do with a license plate identifier software. It was like a plugin, and that was pretty much all they did for detection of like cars, animals, people. Then they went to Deep Stack AI, which I still use and works really well. And then now there's a new one. It's like I think it's Code Project AI. I haven't played with it at all, so that's my next thing is I need to get them. But those can be tweaked to such a level. In fact, you can even have your own custom models, I believe. So like my wife comes home, I can have it send me a notification because it's done its own facial recognition. By the way, it runs locally. So when you run like Deep Stack AI, it's detecting a car. It's not sending a picture to the car to somewhere else and then back to you. It's staying on your network, which is, if you know things about AI, things can get interesting. So anyway, yes, we were all tech noobs once. So yes, yeah, and it'll be a blend of base videos, like and the more advanced people will probably skip those, and then and we'll try to do some interesting stuff too. Like I don't know, one thought I thought like maybe I could that whole live streaming thing. Maybe I could have like a fish. We'll put like a camera on it. We'll live stream 24/7. You could watch the fish grow, like, or maybe I don't know, hermit crab. Where am I sitting right now? I am sitting at my house in my office, and I built this makeshift set today. I'm trying out different things. I'm actually, because I have the live streaming gig, I have a lot of gear, so that's not a problem. But it's almost too much of too many options. But I'm using a camcorder that like a prosumer Panasonic camcorder that I probably won't use again. I just it's a long story, but I needed a dummy battery for a Panasonic GH5 that I'm going to use. That's going to be mounted here. But I usually use a Sony camera for my still shots. The channel has more subs, and this stream has more watchers than the stream has likes, y'all. You know what to do. Yes, give Tony a thumbs up. And in fact, give him a super chat too. And if you give him a super chat, I'll buy him a beer. How about that? Next time I see him. Will Blue Iris tools ever be updated? I am not sure. I wish I had a better connection into the company. I'm going to work on that. Maybe now that I have a channel dedicated to it, I can. I do have some ideas though of some maybe add-on stuff that I could, like, from a technical perspective. I have a lot of friends who are programmers. I'm not personally, but so we'll think about that. Video topic: low energy Blue Iris server supporting 10 plus cams. That's a good topic. Yeah. In fact, what's running this right here is a very tiny BE link. Those little Chinese, like half the size of Nook computers. So I do have a couple of those that could be an interesting one. And there are one video I'm going to do. It's already in my head, is about optimize. There's certain things you could do to optimize, like using substreams and doing direct-to-disk recording, there is an option where it'll like re-encode the video, and that'll kill your CPU. You can use your GPU. You can use your GPU encoding. Brian says, "Are we still helping Dog Star Rescue?" Yes, we haven't as much recently, but we still chat with them every once in a while. And in fact, they use Blue Iris. I set them up with a Blue Iris server. Joe's new channel will pass my YouTube channel by next week. I don't think so, Jay. I think you're interesting stuff on. If you haven't subscribed to Jay's channel, please do, because it's very interesting on video broadcasts. He's a video broadcast engineer. Well, now he's probably a manager at this point, and it's cool stuff. It's cool stuff. Radio station, TV station. He's all over the place. Humans correct. Oh, my humans. That's funny because I met with Tony Quick just to test everything earlier. And I said, Tony's got 4 Chihuahuas, little tiny dogs, and like the Taco Bell dog. And I'm like, "Where's your dog, Tony?" I'm like, "I would love to see your dog Mouse, which is the smallest one, which is show him on your arm, Tony." Yeah, there's Mouse, the black one, the little. I'm like, "Oh, you should, why? I never get to see your dogs." And he goes like this, reaches into his shirt, and the dog is inside of his jacket. I'm not kidding, right, Tony?
No, yeah,
I still don't know how. Like, is there a pocket in your jacket, or
just the zip up sweatshirt, and she likes to sit inside.
so the dog was in there? I'm just saying. It's not inside your shirt, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Just so.
Catherine just reminded me because she said my human, like the cats do. I just installed a new audio logging software that has to run as an app in Windows, and worried about it crashing. Yeah, Windows is interesting. I mean, you can pause updates for some time. Does it run as a service? Because that helps. Because at least if things crash, they come back. Yes. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you had good holidays. If you celebrate holidays, whatever you celebrate, I hope you're having them, still having them.
Thank you, Jay.
Fund. Okay. Tony, next time
go.
I see you.
You owe me a beer, Joe.
I do.
So I think that's about. We got through it all. Yeah.
Wow.
I think people enjoyed it. There were some questions. I think people were just happy to have you back. I know I am. So
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah.
I see the subscriber count has hit 25. So that's awesome. Appreciate you all. And definitely, since it's brand new, if you wouldn't mind watching the videos and commenting and getting some engagement, I would appreciate that. And if you have any interest in Blue Iris at all, there's a 15-day trial. It'll have a watermark over it, but that's that way maybe you just are interested to see how it works and what are the options, right? So just give it a try. It's on the Blue Iris. I think it's blueiris.com or .org. It's one of those, and you can. And then if you do end up switching over to it, I do have the affiliate link for the license. That will help offset if I do end up buying different gear for the channel. It will help offset that. We all know that unless you're like a big time YouTuber, you don't really make any money, especially if you with the time. But these little things help. Like the drive I recommend, the Western Digital Purple drive. Take a look at that. Even if you anything surveillance, I put those in. I've helped a friend out who uses Amcrest. They use an Amcrest NVR, which by the way are pretty darn good for the price, like $150. And they're these little, if you just have a couple of cameras, they're fine. They work out great. But I put one of those in there. I put them in Unify gear, the Unify Protect stuff. I've put the Western Digital Purple drives. I have not had an issue with them at all. I know Western Digital had their what is it, SMR, CMR kind of scandal. But the purple drives I have not found a better surveillance drive for no matter kind of what you're using.
So I'll put all those links down in the after the stream ends in the actual VOD's description, all the affiliate links and the email and all that stuff. So it'll all be there. I dropped it in the chat. I was flashing it up on the screen. So there'll be multiple ways to find them.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ashley. And I will probably enjoy some Malbec tonight after the stream.
I think you're going to need it after preparing for to get back online with me.
No, this is cool. I miss this. So
yeah, no, this is fun. Logic 23, thank you. Blue Iris, and then I see you corrected to Linode or tail scale. Oh, Blue Iris on Linode or tail scale.
right.
Well, are you saying running it remotely, like running in the cloud? The challenge with that is you're gonna have to get all your cameras up. That is a topic I've thought of, though. I was in the past going to take all my local cameras, build a VPN out to, I was going to use AWS, build a VPN out to AWS, and then run Blue Iris on an EC2 instance in AWS, like a Windows server. But I didn't have enough upload speed. I only had, at the time, 30 megabits per second. Well, now I have 2 symmetrical gigabit fiber connections that auto fail over with my pfSense box. Maybe I should have done a channel on networking, Tony. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I have plenty of uploads, so I guess in theory it would just have to. There would have to be enough. You have keyframe. There's certain things like of recording. You have to. The packets kind of have to get there. There can't be too much jitter. They have to get there like at the right time in order, and there is. So it's a little bit like real time media. So, but that's a good video idea. So thank you.
Definitely. Well, Joe, I think we went through everything. I'm going to divvy off of the outline. I'm not going to take you off the screen. We're going to do this together. Okay?
Oh,
we're just going to say goodbye together.
Is somebody's
There's no
birthday? Okay.
So listen, I am excited that we got to do this. I'm thrilled to see that your channel grabbed so many subscribers just as a result of doing this live stream. Hope everybody keeps watching. So I'm excited. I know I will be watching. You may even make me a convert over from Synology to Blue Iris. We'll see. So,
well, you have a couple of server, right? Yeah. Well, you have your Synology server, but then you're going to be working on that other server too, right?
I have that other one, DJ Ware. If you're still in the stream, I will be reaching out to you after the New Year holiday. So I thank you for that offer. I will be expect an email from me in the next week or two.
So maybe that could be your Blue Iris server, Tony.
Oh, it could be a bunch of stuff. Sure.
All right. So, you have a hypervisor. Yep. DJ's here.
All right. Well, I'm good, Joe, unless you want to keep going. Do you have anything else you'd like to say? Share?
No, I think that's it. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Yeah, I look forward to chatting with you all. This is kind of a New Year project. And yeah, I'm just looking at the last comment there, bandwidth. Yeah, I follow. Nice pipes. La 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 la. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you all soon. I may do a stream coming up. Like I said, I probably won't regularly do it. I may do a stream coming up. And who knows, maybe we'll do some sort of giveaway on it. So yeah. Well, you're in at the ground level of the new channel, right? So I have to give you something back maybe. But anyway. Good talking to everybody. Thank you, Tony, for having me on and for letting me use your platform to announce this. So
absolutely, my pleasure, my honor. So
awesome.
With that, we're going to say good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everybody. I'm still on, Tony. There you go.